Good morning or good evening, everyone. It is Monday, May 16th, 2022. So glad you could be here. This is Paul with Forex Smart Trade. Forex Smart Trade, our mission is to help you become the best version of yourself. And we do that by guiding you to the road of financial independence, by teaching you how to currency trade with our proprietary, super accurate trading indicators. And we supplement that with what we consider to be the best in the business, one-on-one personalized training. With our signals, we have a dozen different signals off of the indicators. As we train you, we find one that resonates with you and create a trade plan around that for you to successfully trade. Tonight we have a special guest. We have one of our coaches who is going, Bob Hogan, who is going to show us, talk to us a little bit about one of his favorite trades, and so that we can all improve. With that, before we get going, we just need to listen to this guy. Let me find him here. And then we will bring Bob on.
Due to federal and state regulations, we are providing the following disclosure. Please stay tuned, as this will take less than a minute. Foreign exchange, futures, and cryptocurrency trading are highly risky, and you can lose all the money you invest should you decide to engage in live trading. We are not responsible for your investment, trading, or tax decisions. We are not licensed financial advisors, traders, accountants, stockbrokers, or attorneys. We are not licensed commodities brokers and do not engage in or facilitate commodities transactions. We are not an introducing broker, and we make no recommendation as to where you should invest or what broker you should trade with. As you apply what you learn, we recommend you seek advice from licensed professionals. Any trade results that we show should not be considered typical of our students. We do not and cannot track the results or performance of our students' private trading accounts. We do not know what a typical or average student earns or loses trading. This is not a get-rich-quick program, guaranteed system, or business opportunity. We sell training and trading tools. We make no promises our training or tools will generate future income for students, and you may not make your investment back, including your investment in this training. Any redistribution or recording of this material is strictly prohibited without advance written permission.
All right. One last thing before we get before we bring Bob on. One of the other great things about the program is that we do these live trade sessions where we bring an experienced trader online while you watch. They do their analysis. So it is a teaching moment. But then at the end of the day, you get to walk away with a trade that more often than not is successful. When you are in the light program, you get access to a limited schedule. We are here tonight, Monday. We'll be here again tomorrow morning at 6:30. But when you are a member, you get access to the MIT at 10 in the morning, the afternoon trade at 6 in the evening, and the AIT at 10 in the evening. So you've got almost more than 15 additional trades, 3 trades a day. And I find it immensely valuable because you're learning from the very best. These people are all excellent traders. While you watch them, you will pick up things as you are tonight. So with that, let us say hello to Bob. Bob, are you turned on here?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. All right. Excellent. Cool. How are you? Thank you for being with us tonight.
Yeah, with a pleasure. Hey, just to start things off, I have somebody to meet at 7, so we'll go up to 7 as soon as close as possible, if that's okay.
Okay. Okay. So we'll go fast then.
Yeah, whatever. So yeah, I'm gonna do it again.
Just so we can get you to know you a little bit, and people can get kind of a little bit of a flavor for who you are. Do you consider yourself to be a cat or a dog person?
More of a dog.
More of a dog.
Definitely, yeah.
What is your favorite movie?
God, random question there. That would be. I was in the hospital one night and I turned on a movie called Limitless, and it was surprisingly one of the best movies I ever saw.
Limitless. Who's in it? Now I'm going to have to go.
Not Brad. He was in The Hangover, the one that all the girls like. It was about this guy that popped the pill and just made him smart. It was a pretty cool movie. It was crazy. It was good. It was called Limitless.
All right, excellent. What's your favorite swear word? No. I'm just kidding. What's your favorite pizza?
No, any New York style pepperoni hamburger.
Nice. All right. How long you been trading?
Doing this stuff 2 years, almost to the day, when I was trading with Chris Fryer. Doing this 2 years.
Do you have a favorite signal or setup?
I have a couple I like to go through, but the one I was trading right now is would be like the overnight trade, the caveman trade, which because like we're just doing right now, what happens to be if you're able to look into this webinar right now, you can probably tune into the AT, the afternoon trade for the overnight. So I was very successful with this during my training before I got funded.
All right.
So it's one of my favorites.
Do you have any specific pairs that you like to trade more than one another?
Not really. I will jump out of the USD pairs any chance I get. It's just I prefer to get at the ones that are a little more volatile or a little more active. They move pretty quickly. I'm kind of attracted to that, like pound yen, pound Aussie, euro yen, things like that.
All right. What's the one thing you now that you wish you knew when you started?
That's easy. I wish I had a heads up on the emotional journey it is. Learning patience, just slowing down and not being overwhelmed, because it can be a little overwhelming, but it's such a great journey on the other side of it. It's a lot of fun, things like that. Just had to slow down and just take it all in slowly.
What's the most frequent mistake you see in new traders?
They look at the money. They're not looking at the execution. They're not looking at whether the trade was done correctly. They want, we all want, everybody wants, the big trade. They want the big that. In the beginning, honestly, I think if I just focus more on just winning the trade and from going with what we kept on telling me over and over again, like let's get the execution down and the money will follow. It's all about the execution, in the beginning. I mean, because like it was explained to me, it's a crawl, and then you walk, and then you can start running. So it's a slow process, but it picks up pretty quickly once you start getting things, the handle of things. So forget the money and let's just get execution down.
All right, good. I've made you the host, so you can you should be able to flip your screen on so we can see it, and we'll take it from there.
Perfect. All right, let me share screen. Can the participants can they talk, or are they all muted?
I've got them all muted, but usually I'll have them put in the chat. If you like, we can invite them to ask questions.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody wants to pop in, I was just going through this earlier. I'll assume that if we find a little something, we can put it in the trade simulator over here. So, well, long story short, with this trade, I was very fortunate with my coach was Chris Fryer. We looked at all the different aspects and a lot of different trade setups, and this particular trade setup came out, and he actually stumped me. He got me quiet because it was the premise of it was so easy, and what I ended up doing is and I'll go through that in about a second. What I ended up doing is with an account that we're trading, and I'm going to submit it to be funded. I ended up growing a significant amount over a short period of time, just using this one trade. Meanwhile, demoing, trade simulator and trying a lot of different trades in other demo accounts. But this trade was so simple, and I focused with this, and it grew an account, and it got me going on the right foot, if that makes sense. So it's a real simple trade. Can I let me see here.
I can see your screen.
Annotate. There it goes. Can everybody see the screen?
Yep, I got it.
Okay. So basically, the premise of this trade was it's just a 1 day trade. It's at the post on a 5 o'clock on East Coast time, wherever you're from. If you're Central or Mountain, your post, if your mountain time will be 3 o'clock and central is, 4 o'clock. And at the post, there's only a couple things we're looking for in the beginning stages of this trade. And that was basically the reason I set up this chart right here was because what we're looking for in that chart alone was basically the steepness of our thin orange and do the majors agree? So the steepness of the thin orange, and the values, if right here in this trade, the steepness or the inclination of the thin orange, it kind of softened. So with that being said, I would kind of turn away from this. It's getting up there, and in the value here. I still think it's got some room to go in a buy situation because you come down here to the minors or the majors, I should say, which are the two things that need to agree with this trade, and both of them are kind of soft. So if you take a look at the core indicators, which this one over here, this whole page, that's all our indicators set up. And if you look up here with the thin orange, it softened, and we're softening here with our thick orange, and the thick orange is kind of hitting a level with 10. And the majors are kind of telling this as well. Those are soft, and there's really no trade there. Does anybody have any questions? Am I going too fast? What do you think, Paul?
Nope. You're explaining it well. So you're looking at. So you look to the thick orange first, or you look at the majors and minors first?
Well, the premise for the whole trade was in the beginning. The trade actually, a student came up with this trade, and I recognized this. So all the ideas that students, come through, I hope they present them and put them in the chat, tell their coach, because we definitely aggressively look at it and back test it. What we're looking at is basically the start of this trade is basically the thin orange in the day chart. That's why when I'm cycling through these trades, I set up this, I edited the charts down to only the few things that I'm actually looking for. So I can determine whether I want to keep on going or not. And the majors, they're just kind of soft, and there's really no go here. And kind of like the 5 minute and the 1 minute, like the scalp that, most people are looking at right now. I do like to put the 12-hour in there as well, which I have over here on the far left, just so people, just so I can, see where that's going and see whether the candle, the price posted above the clean pressure entry. But this whole trade is kind of weak in general with the divergence of pressure. So I would just take a pass on this. And I did look around a little bit, and probably one of the best ones I saw today in the U.S. market was let's go over here. Was the pound U.S. and again, this is it's a good trade. I think it's a good trade, and I think it's got a lot of potential to go. So I was going to go through this one and analyze this with you guys. And I think I put this one in. I think it's good for educational purposes. And the benefits, there was one benefit I got from doing these overnight trades. I would sit and stare at the screen, and I'd watch these things go all night long. So I actually got to learn the behavior of whatever trade I was taking. I had some long nights, to be honest with you, just because I was so worried about losing, and which that fear goes away. So if you take a good trade, just live with it. It'll work out well for you. So in the 1 day, we'll look over here just at this chart right here. The thin orange, it's looking pretty good. It is a little soft, but I liked it better than than the other one. Only with the rest of them. And there's only a couple things also I'm looking at. So the thin orange, it's going. Still in a buy situation, and also the majors are still in a buy situation. Now, like the 5 and 1 minute scalp that a lot of people are looking at, things like that. We have over here the 12-hour, just to kind of give me some confirmation. And we have our price posted above the pressure, clean pressure entry, and the majors in that have committed into more of a buy situation. They've committed into the overbought, and which to me strengthens the buy on this. I don't think it's the greatest buy. You know, I was looking around; the signals aren't that great today, but I would consider this one. And you can see over here also in the 12-hour, the kink in the pressure is, you know, is a strong movement up. You know, so it looks like we're might be going into a buy cycle and getting up into you know, we're looking at maybe like 40 pips. And how we measure this, what we do is, I'm gonna move this out of the way, is, you know, we have our trade ratio tools, which you guys can go through all this. It's in your tools, which is over. Oh my God, this thing is getting in the way. Trade ratio tools, we can go down here, we can pull it out. And how we measure this one is you click the trade ratio tool at the top of the body of the candle and you go down to the base. That's a little tough to read, but it ended up over here. It looks about, you know, I would say like an 80 pip stop loss and a 40 pip take profit. Sounds crazy, you know, but you know, these are great trades, and you know, it's a great trade. And here's why: if you have limited time, I know plenty of people that do this. They take this one trade alone. They take one a day if they find it. You will grow an account because you can get this successfully up to about 75 to 85% win rate, and it's usually a 2-to-1 ratio. So if I would take this one and I would set a stop loss at 80 with a take profit of 40. Does anybody have any questions or any reasons why? I mean, I know I'm about going kind of fast.
So you're going to take it. Does the setup require that the candle be above the pressure line, or how does that work? Like, are you looking at the pressure line?
In the rules that were written, the original rules, it's just simply above pressure in the 12-hour. There is that's just me. I like that. Just gives me a little extra confirmation, kind of like in the scalping realm. I do like it touching the clean pressure, and I do like it posted above. It posted above pretty cleanly, and the pressure is kinked pretty good with it.
So on the 12-hour, you look for the previous candle or the current candle?
The current candle. That current candle is, let's see, these tools out. The current candle is well, this one is not that. It's the current candle last 12 hours is this one. So with that being said, the whole body is touching the clean pressure. It's touching the pressure and the trend moving up.
All right, so you want to see that?
I prefer that. In a general, simple, base way. As you go through coaching and things like that, there's different ways of approaching this. But from the beginning standpoint, it's just an added feature. It's a personal thing. To answer that correctly, that's more of a personal thing with me that I like to see.
And on the thin orange, on the 1-day chart, you're just looking at the slope of the line or the position of the thin orange line?
Like if right here, if we started this right here, that if we followed that through, it's a continuing to buy situation. If we say we got into this last night, the inclination right here where we started yesterday, that would be going steeper up. So the first one is more of a desirable look, like right here, if we followed it yesterday as we go through the candle, as opposed to yesterday. This particular candle, it's going into today, we had a steep inclination with the thin orange, which is telling us it's a strong buy. Now, if you take that down here into the into the majors below it, it's telling us the same thing. So yesterday, right here we have, the angle and the steepness of the majors are going up, which is following us through to this candle right here. If we follow that down, so that's yesterday's candle. All these, if that makes sense. I try not to confuse everybody. I know it's a lot and it's tough.
Do you care where the majors and minors are? Like, do you care if they're above the halfway mark or where they are in the channel?
I prefer them to commit into the channel. It is best that they break out of the the oversold and they get themselves into the channel. That gives us a stronger commitment, to get up and to engage into a buy situation.
Will you take it if they're just pointing up and they're below the oversold?
The thin orange would definitely have to be sharp. It'd have to be a sharp angle. It'd have to be really committed to a buy situation.
Okay, so you've do you know what your accuracy is on this trade?
I know the accuracy when I was putting it in. I was doing when I was going through training. I came into the executive training at the office when I flew out there, and my accuracy was like 72%, which doesn't sound that great. And I was kind of like embarrassed because at the time everybody's sitting there saying, "Oh, high percentage." But with the correct money management and stuff like that you get taught as you go, the account grew almost 28% in that month. So I thought I was doing horribly because my percentage of win rate was so low. But in actuality, the coach that I sat with, which was happened to be Troy, was like, "Wow, this is great." And I was like, "Wow, I guess, I didn't realize how good it was." So the account grew, significantly, doing a 2-to-1 or 1-to-1 ratio, which means, my stop loss would be 80, asking for 80 pips, or in a scalp situation, same thing. Stop loss would say 10 pips, and your take profit is 10 pips out, and mathematically it's the same risk to reward ratio.
So right now on the pound dollar,
yeah,
you're recommending a 80 pip take profit and a
I would, if I was going to put this trade into my live account, I wouldn't take this trade myself into my live account, because I just think it's a great trade to take, education. I do think it'll go, but over here, they're pointing in the buy direction. All signals say it's going to be a buy direction. I would do an 80 pip stop loss and probably ask for 35 pips.
I see. So
not quite a 2-to-1, but significantly pretty darn close. And if it gets into a positive, then I would readjust my profit stop, which I'd bring up into a little bit above where I entered the trade. And all that stuff, we get taught as we go through training.
Does this typically close the same day, or do you have to wait?
Typically, it depends on the pairs. The European market doesn't open up on the East Coast, so we're looking about 1 o'clock, 1 a.m. So they open up about 1 a.m. I believe. So things might be a little slow, and if you get a good strong signal, it might just take care of itself in 3 to 4 hours. But again, like a scalp trade, if you're doing it 5 and 1 minute, it might take 2-3 candles. So usually within 2 days it'll be done. Mostly if you have a great signal, half the time you wake up in the morning and it's closed.
And will you let it continue to run if it hasn't?
I will let it continue to run. If the signal was great, and I've got to give it its due diligence and let it go, at least 2 days, 2.5 days. Because you'd be surprised sometimes, things need to reset a little bit and then come back in order. Like if you look over here, just kind of a prime example. It's like all the trades. We'll go back to this chart over here. Now, if you go down here, say, the bottom of this big candle right here, hey, it looks like a pretty big sell. But then as you get into a sell here, we got all these small candles over here. So we still have to let the signals do the signals, let the signals work. And then if you just held out and you followed your plan, you'll end up successfully closing a trade. Let's put a trade ratio on that. Go up here to the body, 2 to 1. In 2 days, 3 days, you're closing out, an extra trade, and you've won your, percent that you're asking for with the 2 to 1 trade. So you got, sometimes you have to give a little time, watch the market, and just be patient. It's one of those things. These things are really, really powerful. In the longer you sit in, just give it a chance and learn it. You'll see, it's pretty awesome. So I would put this trade in if for demo purposes. If you want to go home, I put the lot size to 0.01 and try it out and just follow the trade as it goes through the night. Because essentially, when I did that in the beginning, I ended up watching the trades, like I said, and I watched the way they behaved throughout the night, which actually gave me a huge foundation just to move forward and picking up scalping midterm charts and trades and stuff like that.
What do you consider the 2 more questions so that we can have you make your 7 o'clock? What do you think the key is to becoming a successful trader?
Patience. A lot of times, like I said, I think this is a good buy signal. It is not the best in general, but I think sometimes when we see a signal, I want to take it. Essentially, if you just waited a few minutes, maybe let it reset a little bit in a scalping situation, especially, you might actually get a better entry. And if you don't see your entry, you just walk away. And just patience and don't worry about the money. Just worry about execution and money management, and you will find that you'll find success.
And why should someone choose you to be their coach? All the coaches are great. Given that, why should someone? What are some of the advantages of working with you?
I don't know. I mean, like you said, I mean, all these guys just as well as I do. I mean, we all have our ins and outs. I don't get into all the technical stuff, analyzing every little thing. Sometimes I'm more of I won't say sports player, but if you see things happen, you see the market moving, I'll aggressively go after it. I do like the short terms, I do like midterms, and then I like this one long-term trade. So essentially, I know most people are kind of in the scalping realm. Myself and Chris Fryer and a couple others, a few others, we're kind of, we like it all. I like it all. I do the long-term trade with the overnights, midterms, and scalps, depending on my mood. And I'm not locked into just any particular pair. So I like to spread it out and visit things and see where each and every individual's at. But other than that, you really can't go wrong with just about anybody that you choose, or to choose, they choose you.
Does anybody have any questions for Bob while before he leaves? You can unmute yourself or put it in the chat. All right, Bob.
Well, Paul, I'll throw this out there. If anybody wants to, there's somebody up here. What they got? Oh, you're welcome, John. If anybody wants to chat one-on-one, just feel free to shoot out my number to them, or send me a text, and I'll get in touch with them at whatever's easiest. No problem with chatting one-on-one with anybody with this.
All right, terrific.
And they might feel more comfortable asking questions, things like that.
All right, terrific. Thanks, Bob. Appreciate your time, and have a good rest of the evening.
You too. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Bye-bye.